So a few weeks ago, I made a video about Elon Musk's new government role and what that will likely entail after we saw Donald Trump win the election. But in this video, instead of looking at what Elon Musk is going to try and do for America, I wanted to have a look at exactly how Elon Musk stands to benefit from the Donald Trump presidency. Because while a 100 million plus donation sounds very charitable, we also have to acknowledge that this was a calculated, strategic business decision from Elon that has actually already paid massive dividends. So how is Elon Musk benefiting from his massive bet on Donald Trump? How much has he already made? And how will he and his various businesses stand to benefit when Donald Trump is in office? Firstly, let's talk about how much Elon has already made, because spoiler alert, it's a lot. But to work out his return, for lack of a better word, we first have to look at exactly how much he spent. And it turns out this is a trickier task than you might expect, because a lot of money donated to political parties by billionaire donors is actually able to be masked, which I'll detail in a second. But one thing we do know is that Elon Musk definitely donated $74.95 million to the America PAC, a super political action committee he established to support Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign. We know this because in this instance, there's actually a filing released by the US Federal Election Commission, which details several donations made personally by Musk that totals $74.95 million. But when it comes to his earlier donations, things start to get a little murky. This is the Wall Street Journal's Dana Mattioli explaining how this system works.
There's this secret world for billionaires and wealthy people where they could obscure their political donations by moving their money through different organizations, such as C4s. The IRS calls them 501c4s, and sometimes they're called social welfare organizations or dark money groups. And they are exempt from disclosing their donors, and they could raise unlimited amounts of money from people and companies.
And this is what Elon Musk normally uses alongside many other billionaires when they get involved in politics. Now, this is actually a really interesting podcast to listen to, and I'll leave it linked in the description, but the short of it is that because Musk uses these non-profit organizations, it's very difficult to track where his money is going. But with that said, it's currently estimated by Dana's research that Musk also donated tens of millions of dollars to other Trump-supporting PACs before he established the America PAC, and he even donated $10 million to Ron DeSantis before he pulled out of the race in January of this year. So overall, while the water is murky, it seems as though Elon Musk conservatively spent over $100 million on political donations to help Donald Trump or the Republican Party. He conservatively spent $100 million on conservatives. Now that is a big bet, but the crazy thing is, that $100 million outlay has already more than paid for itself. What do I mean by this? Well, as you know, Elon Musk is the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla and the owner of X and the founder of many other smaller businesses too. And what that means is that he holds a lot of shares in these businesses. For example, he owns about 22% of the shares of Tesla, 42% of SpaceX, about 80% of Twitter, and has majority stakes in the Boring Company, Neuralink, and xAI. Now, for almost all of these businesses, it's very hard to track exactly what Elon's stake is worth because the companies are private and packets of shares change hands very infrequently and away from the eyes of the general public. However, one company in his portfolio that is most certainly publicly traded is, of course, Tesla. So for that business, we can see exactly how much Elon Musk's stock is worth every single day. So you can see where this is going, right? Now, Elon Musk owns around 715 million Tesla shares as of Tesla's 2024 proxy statement. And that's very interesting, especially when you look at what's happened to the stock price since the election, which I'll remind everyone occurred on November the 5th. As you can see, here is the stock on November 5th, and this is where the stock is today. As I'm recording, it's currently up around 40%. But what does this equate to for Elon's shares? Well, for his $100 million donation, just from the rise in Tesla stock post-election, his net worth has grown by, drumroll please, $72.3 billion. Yes, $72.3 billion. And that's just the benefit from Tesla stock, the publicly traded shares. It's also speculated that the value of his other businesses have also risen as a result of the election too, with rumors SpaceX is now considering selling some insider shares, which would value the business at $255 billion. That's compared to a previous valuation of $210 billion in June, so a 21% increase in the last few months. And with Elon being the #1 shareholder at SpaceX, holding 42% of the shares, that 21% increase in SpaceX's valuation represents another $18.9 billion gain, a large portion of which pundits will probably argue came as a result of the US election. But even if we just look at the Tesla position, the one that can absolutely be 100% verified by day-to-day price action movements on the NASDAQ, for Elon's $100 million investment, he's already made a 72,200% return. So, I mean, not a bad day at the office. But of course, that's just the first part of the story, because there are 4 years of a Trump presidency ahead where Elon Musk and his companies stand to continually benefit. How? Well, there are really two main ways, and the first one is from Donald Trump's policies. Starting more broadly, one of the most obvious wins for Elon is Trump's envisaged corporate tax policy. Now, in 2017, Trump already lowered the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21% as he signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act into law. But as I'm sure you've heard, he has also stated he wants to cut this further down to 15% for companies manufacturing in the United States. Now, at the moment, we're not 100% sure how this will affect Tesla, as they also do a lot of manufacturing in Germany and most notably Shanghai, but they also have massive factories in California, Texas, and New York. So if this tax cut were to apply to them, then that's immediately a big boost to their after-tax profits, which naturally increases the value of each one of their shares. SpaceX is another potential beneficiary here, with manufacturing of their rockets and satellites happening in America. SpaceX builds their rockets and spacecraft at facilities in Hawthorne, California, and Starbase in Texas, whereas Starlink, SpaceX's satellite internet service, has a substantial manufacturing footprint in Redmond, Washington, and Bastrop, Texas. The proposed tax cuts would most certainly enhance SpaceX's financial efficiency, making it even more competitive in the commercial and government aerospace sectors, and would free up cash to put towards projects like Starship or Starlink, ultimately increasing the value of the company. Then beyond tax cuts, another policy that could strangely also benefit Elon Musk and Tesla is if EV tax credits are taken away. Now, while that would be a net negative for the whole EV industry, it would actually put Tesla in a better competitive position, as they're the only EV company with decent footing in the US that sells their vehicles at a profit.
I think if you look at EV companies worldwide, to the best of my knowledge, no EV company is even profitable. And to the best of my knowledge, there's no EV division of any company, of any existing auto company that is profitable.
You think about it like this, lemonade stand example, where the government wants to incentivize people to drink lemonade, so they offer to pay for a portion of the cost. Say I have a lemonade stand and in 1 hour I sell 10 cups of lemonade and I make $10 in profit. My neighbor, however, hasn't quite figured out the best formula yet, so they only sell 5 cups and they're barely breaking even. Now, let's say the government decides lemonade is unhealthy and they take away their incentive. Well, that hurts both businesses, and I now sell 5 cups an hour and only make $5. However, my competitor, instead of selling 5 cups, now only sells 3, and they are now making a loss because their sales have gone down. So out of that scenario, while it sucks for both parties, I actually have a better competitive position now, because despite my business being hampered, I still make money. My competitor, however, now is in the red and will go out of business unless they can make some sort of change. So that's a very similar story as to why Tesla could actually come out further ahead if things like the EV tax credits are cancelled. They're the most profitable EV outfit and therefore can take the heat more so than other EV companies. So that's the first reason around how Elon Musk stands to benefit from a Donald Trump presidency. The short of it is that Trump will most likely implement policies that are very pro-business, which has a very big impact on Elon's personal wealth. But beyond that, the second key reason why Musk stands to benefit is due to deregulation, of which he will take an active role in. Now, I do acknowledge that this is quite a big conflict of interest, and I'll direct you back to a video I made recently on the pros and cons of Elon Musk having an active role in the US government, because I'm not going to talk about it directly in this video, but there is no doubt deregulation and Musk's role in executing it will likely have a very big benefit to Elon Musk over the next few years. One example that a lot of traditional media sites have been discussing lately is Tesla's full self-driving. Now, Tesla are at a stage where this software is getting close to being feature complete, but Elon has regularly stated that he's unsure when the technology will actually be in wide use on the roads, because it'll likely take a while for the regulators to assess and approve its use. Well, guess what? After Elon Musk described the state-by-state approval process as incredibly painful just a month ago, Donald Trump's team have come out and said that they will look to, quote, make a federal framework for self-driving vehicles, and it will be one of the Transportation Department's top priorities. Obviously, streamlining the approval process of autonomous vehicle programs will greatly benefit Tesla, their stock price, and Elon Musk. Or what about the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA? Elon Musk has been very critical of the FAA, especially in relation to Starship launches out of Texas. In fact, this is a little clip of him talking to Joe Rogan recently about just how much they're slowing down SpaceX.
For SpaceX, Starship was sitting on the pad, the rocket, this giant rocket. We could build the rocket faster than they could process the paperwork to approve the launch. So we're sitting there for 2 months.
And obviously with Elon now in a position to cut as much red tape as he possibly can, you can imagine he very well could take a swing at the FAA, making approvals for SpaceX launches much easier to get, enabling them to execute launches more rapidly and expand its Starlink network without delays. It would also mean faster approval for new facilities like Starship production and testing sites, which would definitely help accelerate SpaceX's highly ambitious goals, including lunar and Mars missions. So they're the two main ways that Elon Musk stands to benefit from the Donald Trump presidency, but there are also other murkier ways too. I've left these to the end because they're a lot more speculative, but for example, some are now talking about how Elon Musk's closeness to the president could make government contracts a little bit easier to come by, particularly for SpaceX, who does rocket launches for NASA, and even defense or communications contracts for the government through Starlink. Beyond that, another narrative popping up at the moment is that Elon Musk could stand to benefit as being a middleman between the US and China. Elon famously has very good relations with the Chinese authorities, remembering Tesla was the first foreign automaker to wholly own a manufacturing facility in China. Now, how exactly Elon Musk could benefit from being a middleman is still all up in the air and highly speculative. It might literally just be some sort of protection from potential trade disputes, but it's probably not a bad place to be, having good relations on either side. So overall, they're the main ways that Elon Musk is set to benefit over the next 4 years, and really how he's benefited already. Not bad for $100 million, right? Also, reminder again, please check out New Money Education. 30% off is yours for Black Friday. We don't do many discounts, as you guys know. We believe in the product. I'm sure you'll love it. And if you don't, just send me an email. So use the code BF24 and hey, get in while it's trading below intrinsic value. All right, guys, I'll see you all in the next video.